couldn't make it are able to watch this. So the video is recording now, and we're going to be talking through the week 8 journal abstracts assignment. I know that we have talked about this in previous class sessions, so thank you for your patience if you're already familiar with it, but I have been receiving a lot of questions about this. So I just want to go through it in a way that we can all be ready for and understand, and that this can be some review for those who need it. And I'm also going to look at the CCU online library so that we can look at that together. So here we have the week 8 assignment, the journal abstracts. And this assignment, I'm just going to put in plain English, it's 3 summaries of academic journal articles. Academic journal articles are research studies that are peer-reviewed, and peer-reviewed means that many other people with high qualifications in the field who have done a lot of research themselves come together to look at the study, to pick through it piece by piece, and to send suggestions and updates and corrections to the original author or authors so that the study can be tweaked and adjusted to make sure that it meets the highest gold standard, the highest bar of academic and research excellence. So that is what an academic journal article that is peer-reviewed is about. It is a research study that has been critiqued and critiqued through a process that can often take several years until it comes to the point, the standard of excellence, where it's approved and an academic journal publishes it. So we need 3 of those this week, and we're going to summarize each of those 3 that we choose. The question might come up, does the journal abstract article assignment need to be about our final paper topic? Because if you go down to week 9, you'll see that upcoming is an opportunity for you to select your final paper topic. By the way, the final paper requirements and information can be found under the week 15 tab. We are already in week 8, so we are progressing. We're over halfway through the course right now. So if you're not sure about your final paper, it's a research paper on a topic that we've studied in the field of psychology. Start thinking about it now, because you're going to submit your topic idea and just a rough thesis statement for your final research paper by next week at the end of the week, week 9. So that's an assignment coming up, and the assignment description for the final paper is under week 15, the final week of our course, in which that will be due. However, this week we're focused on the journal abstracts, and the reason that I hit on those upcoming things is because if you so choose, you do not have to, you might want to research some journal articles, some academic peer-reviewed journal articles that directly address the subject matter that you're interested in investigating for your research paper. So if you have one choice of content that you hope to cover, for instance, you might have interest in dialectical behavior therapy as a therapeutic approach for people, particularly maybe with borderline personality disorder, and you want to examine the history and the effectiveness of that treatment and what it entails from a comprehensive approach. Then you might do 3 different journal articles about the history and effectiveness and the process of dialectical behavior therapy, or DBT, your topic choice. However, you might also choose 1 article about DBT. Maybe you're not sure if you want to take the final paper in the direction of anxiety disorders, panic disorder. So you might find an academic journal article about that. And then maybe you want to take a look at the most effective medications for depression and what the outcomes are for medication versus therapy and other types of treatment in that regard. Another interesting thing you could investigate would be the effects of anxiety on challenges with mental health, and how exercise and physical activity might impact anxiety and mental health. That could be a really interesting topic. So let's say you're kind of dabbling around with final paper topics, and you like this and you like that, and you're not quite sure. The journal abstract assignment is also a great opportunity to select 3 different articles about 3 different things. So technically, you could do these journal abstracts about things that you don't intend to write your final paper about, just to explore for fun, as long as it's within the field of psychology. You could also choose journal articles for these abstracts that are different ideas, 3 different things that you're considering for your final paper topic that you want to explore. Or if you're pretty sure about what you want to propose for approval for your final paper topic, you can choose 3 academic peer-reviewed journal articles that relate directly to that topic and support your research in that area. Because then down the road, you'll be able to look back at your journal article abstracts and say, oh yes, I remember this research paper. I liked it. I found this or that interesting. And you can use that same academic journal article as a source as you draft and compose your final paper in week 15. And hopefully before it. Don't save everything until the last week or the last minute, of course, but you'll be drafting over time and then ultimately submitting that paper by the final day of the course at 11:59 p.m. Mountain Standard. And that would be the week 15 final paper. So we have all sorts of choices. Bottom line for this assignment, all you need is 3 academic peer-reviewed journal articles. You are going to read and review the journal articles, and you're going to summarize the content of each of those articles. So you can do an APA format title page. And by the way, I do want to pull up something related to that. So I'll do that right now. OWL at Purdue. This is a resource that's available to you, and I do provide link to it, but you can type OWL at Purdue APA format into Google or any search engine, and you'll be able to find information on that. So I'm going to hit on the APA format here just for a moment while we're talking about the abstracts. Here on the left-hand side, you can see that under APA style 7th edition for APA format is the current edition, the most updated. We did 6th edition for a really long time, and now we're in the 7th. You can see these links are very helpful for how to reference different types of sources, how to add different, maybe you need to do an appendix or something more complicated in the future. But my biggest recommendation for you would be to scroll all the way down to here where it says APA sample paper and click on that. The reason I recommend the APA sample paper is because I'm a very visual person. I don't know about you all, but I think seeing an example is useful. So you can get these sample papers here in PDF format, if that's what you would like to do. You can see there's 2 different documents. For your college education here in the class that you're taking right now, we need to use APA student papers in 7th edition. So this is your paper, student paper. And I've pulled this up in Microsoft OneDrive. The way that I did that is I was down here at this very bottom and I clicked this little thing that looks like a spider. So ignore the professional paper. We want the APA 7th edition student paper. So here we can see it, and you'll notice these yellow boxes on the side with lots of different notes about formatting. Bottom line, as I said, I'm a visual person, so if you are too, this might help you. This is what your paper needs to look like, okay? So bold title here, do another space. This is all double spaced. You'll list your name and all of the relevant information, including the name of the course and your instructor and the date. And then as you proceed in APA format, you'll have a title here and all of your content. It shows you some different in-text citations. This is a long paper, so you can read the little boxes on the side and learn more about APA format. Not all of it will be relevant to you. Some of it we learn about how to insert a table like this in APA format. But bottom line, we do want to look at the reference page because this will be relevant for our abstract assignment as well. And Michaela, can you see this sample paper right now?
Yes, I can.
Wonderful, thank you. So for the reference page, this is all in alphabetical order. Right here it says references, not works cited, not reference. There's no colon after it. It's just the word references, bolded. And then everything else after it, those are all of the sources. And those are going to be listed in alphabetical order with a hanging indent. So that's something that's very important. If a person is trying to type a hanging indent, I'm just going to pull up Microsoft Word and I'm going to say reference 1 I'm just going to copy and paste that because I don't have any actual content that I want to put in there. I'm just trying to show an example. So I'm just going to keep saying reference one, and we'll say this is the title of one of our academic journal articles, and it's going to be kind of lengthy because that's how titles often are, and it's longer than one line. And so I need to put this in a hanging indent. First thing I'm going to do is highlight all of it. By the way, we want to use Times New Roman. We want to use size 12. And now in Microsoft Word, I'm going to where it says paragraph. I'm clicking this little arrow right here.
Are you, I can't see the Word document that you're typing in.
Perfect. I'm so glad you said that. Let me fix it. All right, here's the Word document. So I'm typing reference, and that's the title. Can you see it now?
Yep, you're good.
Perfect. Thank you. And then I'm hitting insert. Excuse me, I'm back here to paragraph. That's what I meant. So paragraph, clicking this little arrow right here. So I just highlighted my entire title. I put it into size 12 Times New Roman, click my little arrow, and I'm going to pull down for special and click hanging, and that's under indentation. I also want to click line spacing double. And then right here where it says don't add space between paragraphs of the same style, this is a really good one to click for APA format, because in APA format, you don't want to have any extra space between paragraphs or references other than the double spacing. And you can see now my reference has that hanging indent where it starts further over here and then has this indentation before it begins the second line. And to put my title, I would just hit center right up here. Then I would bold and I would type references, not works cited, not reference, no colon, just a bold word reference. And then each of my references would continue on in this hanging indent. And that's how I would be doing that formatting. So back to the sample paper page. That was just a little side journey to look through that APA format. So we're back at the sample paper. That is the Owlette Purdue website. Highly recommended, especially that APA sample paper and student format, 7th edition of APA. Okay, so the reason that that was relevant is because for these abstracts, which is the topic that we're going back to now, we really need to create a title page in APA format for your journal abstracts assignment. And then we're going to have 1 abstract, 2 abstract, 3 abstract reference page. Okay, so the best, easiest way, the way that a lot of people organize this is to do 3 separate pages for the abstracts themselves. And when I say abstract again, I mean summary. It's just kind of an academic fancier term for a summary. So it's about a paragraph. These need to be between 150 and 250 words. You can do word count either through Microsoft Word, or you can do word count online. If you look at your Microsoft Word, down at the very bottom left of your document, it'll tell you how many words are on that document. If you go to the internet, you go to Google and you type word count, you can copy and paste your abstract or your summary paragraph into a little box that will come out for you on Google, and it'll tell you exactly how many words you have. It's very important that we try to stay in between this 150 and 250. Definitely do not go below the 150, because it's really important that we have sufficient information as we summarize each of the articles. In these summary paragraphs for the article, it is essential that we cover 4 different topics. And these topics are here in the prompt for you: introduction, methods, results, and conclusion, or excuse me, discussion. So the introduction, we'll talk about the main ideas. You're basically introducing your academic journal article to somebody who's never read it before. And you're going to do this for each of your 3 abstracts separately. If you choose to put them one after another, running through a couple pages, that's up to you. Many people find it best to organize with 1 abstract per page, and they roughly end up taking about a half a page with this 150 to 250 word count. So for the introduction, we are saying, here's the main idea. Here's what happened in this research study. For methods, we are explaining how the researchers went about this research study. So this is where we say the study was quantitative and a survey was distributed to 500 participants who had received the treatment X, Y, or Z. Only 462 participants responded, and these were their, socioeconomic statuses or their race or ethnicity or gender or whatever demographic information it gives you. And it'll talk about how they analyzed those results. Results, that would be the next section, would be what were the outcomes. So the survey indicated that at least 62% of the participants found that the treatment was helpful at a level of this or that, effective or very effective across settings, for example. So what did they come up with in this study? And then the discussion, which is the last point you really need to clearly hit on in your abstract, is why do I even care? Why does this matter? What does this tell us for the field, for the big picture of psychology, for myself or anyone else? The way that you can start your discussion, which can just be a sentence or two, because again, these are only about half a page long, 150 to 250 word count. You can say something like, this research study and its outcome is important because it influences providers and practitioners in next steps for treatment, and it indicates that X, Y, or Z treatment was useful for people struggling with X, Y, or Z condition. This could be applied in hospital settings, etc. So I'm just kind of carrying on about a study that doesn't actually exist because this is a random example. If we don't cover all four of these ideas clearly in the abstract, that's going to be a problem. So we need to summarize each of these in order to get the credit for the abstract content itself. And again, that's 150 to 250 words. So the next thing that we need to do is go to the CCU online library. And Michaela, can you see the CCU with the yellow here?
Yes, I can.
Okay, wonderful. So what we're going to search, this is the last website we're looking at. Let's search for depression and exercise, because I just brought that up earlier. So you'll type in CCU online library. It'll get you to a page that looks like this. So I'll show you here in Google, CCU library. Type in CCU online library for Google, click that top one. Here you are. You want to click on yellow for articles because we're not looking for books. And again, we're searching journal articles. So depression and exercise. And then hit enter or search. And this will have you logging in with your CCU username and password, just like you used to get into your Blackboard. Now, here are the articles that we've come up with. Okay. So my topic is up here. It has been searched already. What I can do, which might be a good idea, is to add and exercise here. That's just called the Boolean search. It helps to organize the results. So I'll just do that and hit search again. Never hurts to use that Boolean. So if you're doing two different topics, one and the other. And the next really important part of using the CCU online library is to scroll down where it says limit to. We need to click full text because there's no use in getting an article if we don't even have the full text accessible. And we need to click peer reviewed. There's all sorts of other stuff that we could click down here, like making it more recent, like maybe something 2000 or later, for instance. I might want to find that. There is some benefit from older research at times because it helps us to know what they were looking at and what they learned previously. And by they, I mean researchers in the field. So it really just depends what you want in a given assignment. And then here on the left, there's one more thing that is very, very important for us to click, and it is under source types where you see academic journals. So click this, otherwise you'll be coming up with books and magazine articles and all sorts of stuff that's not relevant for what you're looking for. Okay, so full text, peer-reviewed academic journals. Now we have results and we're ready to look through them. Something that stood out to me, and you can just scroll and look at titles. I like what I see here. Can exercise decrease mortality risk in patients with depression? So here in November of 2020, that's quite recent. That's good. This is recent research investigating whether exercise can help people to live longer and be less at risk of dying, people who have depression. So let's click on that. Another nifty tool that I'll show you here before we look at the article itself is on the right-hand side. You can see here in the CCU online library where it says Cite. You can click Cite. And then scroll down to where you see APA 7th edition format. There you have the APA format citation. The only thing is you still want to check that OWL at Purdue APA website to make sure that all the formatting is right, because this is a computer and it's not going to get everything right all the time. So it gives you a good starting place, and then you can just check it all, make sure that the capitals or the italics are correct in APA format, but it'll generally get it mostly right for you. So back to the article itself, when I clicked on it, I see something here that says PDF full text on the left-hand side. That's what I'm going to want to find. This is something that I can print out. You don't have to, but it's an easy way for you to access the content. So you can click on it and then scroll down, read the information, and this will help you to get started. I do want to show you an example of an article that has variables and participants in it, because that one, as we just looked at it, did not. So we need to keep looking for one that does. This one is a 2017 article about university students and their self-efficacy, their depression, and their well-being with exercise behavior. So I'm going to see, does this study have participants? Does it have results? Is it an experiment? Yes, it is. I know that because here it says 522 university students have participated in the research. Great. So we know that this was a study. I don't see the full text PDF option here, so I'm going to try the full text from Eric. And lo and behold, here it is. So to my right-hand side, download full text in PDF. And this I see compared to the last one we just opened. So you really just got to browse through them. This is an appropriate academic journal article. I know that because there are participants in the research. And as I keep reading through this abstract, don't copy and paste anything, obviously, but this is their summary. I'm going to understand what happened in this study and summarize it myself. So reading along for the methods, you could say that they used this inventory, this questionnaire, applied it to a small group, and they used analysis of variance, which is called ANOVA, to analyze the data. According to the stages of exercise behavior, it says that there are disparities between their self-efficacy, depression, and well-being, and the relationship between these notions has been observed. So it tells us that participants with self-efficacy and psychological well-being levels that are high and have low depression, they are doing advanced levels of exercise. So talking about results in the discussion section, it says, in light of the findings, it has been concluded that continuity in exercise has a positive effect on self-efficacy, which, by the way, self-efficacy is believing you can do it, that you're capable, depression, and psychological well-being. So final sentence here in the abstract tells us the study looked at all these people. It did inventories and questionnaires about their exercise and their depression. And then we did this ANOVA analysis. You don't have to know the ideas of ANOVA to say, here's what they used. And then the final sentence tells us it was concluded that the exercise has a positive effect on their psychological states. Wonderful. Why do we care? That's that discussion component. Because many people suffer from depression, both inside and outside of the United States. People of all ages might be at risk for substance use and abuse if they struggle with depression. They might be at risk for suicidal ideation or for attempts. And therefore, understanding that physical exercise is beneficial for them is important for providers, for family members, and for the people themselves who are impacted. Okay, so you'd be summarizing this article because we know it's a good research study. It's got participants, it's got results, and we would be summarizing it. You can scroll down and find more detail. Look here, it says methods, 279 females, 273 males, total of 552 people. They were ages 17 to 30 years old. So if we want to know what happened, we continue. Here are the results. It summarizes them. And then it shows their references, which is all of the research that they used to develop a base or a body of evidence for their own research. So we'd be summarizing that one, summarizing everything else we find. And that's the bottom line with the assignment. So any questions before we wrap up?
Yeah, I have two kind of formatting questions.
Yes.
I can't remember if I already asked you this, but we don't need to do the in-text citations like the parenthetical for the abstracts, right?
Yeah, no, that's okay. As long as you just cite what the study is, you won't need to because it's so short and brief. However, let's avoid taking any direct quotation from the article and instead summarize in our own words. And the reason for that is this is such a short little deal that we really don't need to be copying and pasting anything. We can show our own analysis of it and then just include the citation for that article on the reference page.
Right. Okay, and then thank you for the citations. Are we still doing the alphabetical or is it like in the order that we present it?
Great question. Still alphabetical.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot. Thank you.
Of course. Any other questions?
Nope.